Happy Saturday and welcome to the Ramashram Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you will learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Shivangi and I will be introducing the facilitator for this event. But first, I would like to give you a brief overview to this Satsang session. If you'll direct your attention to the screen, you will see that the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our lives. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of satsang. When we meditate, our consciousness is drawn from worldly objects and directed inward to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, leading us to higher states of consciousness such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsangs, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior. But it's only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. This is the type of satsang we will learn today where we meditate in silence. Group sessions. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but it is only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy that we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Next, the agenda for today's session consists of three parts: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, our founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, instructions on how to meditate will be given, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you will have the opportunity to ask questions or there will be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for this event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He is the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ramashram Satsang. He was born into the satsang family where he witnessed his family members obtaining states of enlightenment and live lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. During that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. Upon arriving in the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsang for local satsangis. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by our Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
Happy Saturday. Parul, I think you will start as usual, and then um, a long time since I have met everyone. I have a new, I mean, the meditation is pretty much the same, but I have converted that into uh, uh, actual guided meditation. So we'll test drive that today. But before that, Parul.
Okay, cool. So my dad is back, and we will basically be doing a little bit of a different format. So we're just going to start as usual. And I'm going to go into a topic, and then my dad has an amazing guided meditation, and then we'll do a little talk with my dad, and then we'll get into everybody's questions. And we'll also be talking about the retreat today. So stick around for that if you want to talk about that. But today's topic is your family is your biggest lesson. So, we've been talking about this quote for a couple of weeks now, which is that if you think you're enlightened, spend a week with your family. And that was by Ram Dass, actually. So I'm sure some of you might be familiar with that quote. But this topic has come up for me a lot recently. And I was just thinking about how we have all experienced something when it comes to family, whether it's, abandonment as a child, jealousy and envy within the family, a controlling or overbearing person within the family, might be a parent or something like that. The list can go on. And the point is that our families have been uniquely designed to test our limits and boundaries, or if you're lucky, to nurture and nourish your soul. But for everyone, the design of our lives starts with our families because that is the root of our soul's evolution and growth. And when you can take a growth mindset with the dynamics within your family and even your extended family, you're on the road to some serious soul evolution. And why is that? Because our families consist of the people who we have our deepest soul contracts and karmic ties with. And this is positive and negative, right? Our biggest blessings and forms of support are coming from these relationships, hopefully. And our biggest blocks, lessons, and generational curses are also coming from these same relationships. So it's a thin line that we're walking, and we really have to enjoy the good times and accept the bad and find ways to navigate both of these times with these relationships with grace and with love. So these are people that we might have obligations to, we feel a sense of responsibility with in some of these dynamics. They're a part of our community. You might have those feelings of, I have to do this, even when you don't want to, and it's totally valid. And if you think about, our original relationship with our mother, this is someone who literally brought us into the world. And imagine the reasons why we chose that mother to come through and the soul ties we created there with that relationship alone. So whether we want to accept it or not, these relationships have affected the way we interact with others and create relationships as adults. Our subconscious brains, which are running the show, are shaped from the age of 0 to 7 up to the age of 14. And that is the OG wiring that's playing out as we grow up and move into adulthood and beyond. Everything we picked up, including the ups and downs, the traumas, the nurturing we received or didn't receive, the hobbies and the advice we got, is literally running the show in the present moment. So rather than judging ourselves for struggling at times, find forgiveness. And rather than, harshly judging those close to us, understand what must be running in the backgrounds of their subconscious minds. Of course, to a healthy extent, if you can, but also create a strong field of protection around your energy field by being here and practicing, the lifestyle of satsang daily. So anytime you're triggered, remember the guru and remember the light. These are experiences that are mostly temporary and they won't last forever, but they will come with a lifetime of lessons and situations designed for us to level up spiritually. And once we have moved through these situations, we have overcome our biggest hurdles emotionally and spiritually. We become even more pure-hearted and full of unconditional love and non-judgment. It doesn't happen overnight, but months and years later, you'll look back on these situations or relationships and understand how they shaped you and your soul for the better if you let them. So that's my topic for the day. Food for thought as usual. And yeah, so my dad is going to do a guided meditation today, which I think will be really helpful because a lot of us, we're just trying to get into the right vibe going into the meditation. So I think this will be a nice, easier way to get into it. And I'm going to pass it on to you.
Thank you, Parul and Shivangi. And happy Saturday, everyone. So Uh, Before I start, so one thing was that for years I have been observing, uh, you know, how people get into meditation and what questions have come up and what struggles people have shared. So I've tried to address some of that, but I also have to address the technical aspects. So just bear with me. Stay centered in your heart, as Parul says, while we just quickly set this up. So I'll share. Okay, so I think what I should keep on my screen, I'll have to figure out. But for now, let's get started. Okay, so uh, you know, you all have attended these sessions, so that's a good thing. We pretty much doing the same thing, nothing different. And I would like to get some feedback, but let's get started now. So music starts and my voice will continue to be with you, so in and out, and then we'll have so about 14 minutes of music with my voice, and then 5 to 10 minutes of deep silence as we embody the transcendental energy. And then we'll transition out with music about 4 to 5 minutes. So that's the plan. Let's start now. Center ourselves and observe our body. So the first thing is to make sure that we are completely and totally relaxed, head to toe, eyes lightly closed. So observe your body. There is no strain throughout the body. And we'll continue to relax, make sure the body is totally and totally relaxed, ready. Eyes are lightly closed. We'll get totally centered in our heart in 5. First step is to observe the body. Now start observing our breath. Take a deep breath. Inhale up and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Continue to observe. So now let's inhale strength, light, and exhale all the negative energy. Continue to observe your breath. While inhaling, observe the breath, but also observe that you're inhaling positive energy, light. You're exhaling all the negative energy, dark. So now let's elevate ourselves and get centered in our heart. But before that, let's, before we embody the transcendental energy, let's settle the stores of uplifting and positive energy. For those who don't believe in God, this is the cosmic energy and beyond, and it is right here, right now. Source is not far, but near and in front of us. For those who believe in God, this is the formless source of divine energy. As we imbibe this formless, enormously powerful that uplifts us, provides us energy, and transforms. For those who believe in Christ, Buddha, Allah, Krishna, Radha, Shiva, we're sitting in front of our God. God is right in front of us in the form of light, conscious form, force, trans. For people like me, we think of Guru to be present in a conscious form, right in. And now that we have established the source of light, now we need to unite our heart. this transcendental energy from the conscious source coming in directly into our heart. Our heart is getting enlightened with this pure and perfect light. And all our energies centered heart, the most spiritual and pure place in our body. Embodying this transcendental energy in the heart helps us move rather than behind, rather than serve energy in the heart. Lots of benefits come out of it. Love, proud, like fresh water. Love in its purest form that beyond or transcendental energy crystallizes nominally for continue to see some thoughts cross our mind, but we are just observing them. Also, as we observe this transcendental energy light in our heart, we become an observer, a non-judgment entered heart filled with light. Now, stay centered in our heart with this transcendental form of love and the way we will transcendental energy light heart, continue to observe any thoughts that I that enjoy. So let's continue to absorb the transcendental energy as we embody and manifest this transcendental energy. We are manifesting humility, kindness, gratitude, because all these qualities, humility, kindness, gratitude, the highest form of love, evolve as we center our energies on the heart, like providing sunlight, water, and fertilizer that is embedded in very fertile seed evolved plant. Proper care and provide all to that provide them balance. Or serve the thoughts on with. All right. My apologies if there were some technical difficulties here because I somehow felt that uh, a guided meditation needed some people. Otherwise, I wouldn't even get in that state. So um, I'll get feedback on this, and please be candid because, you know, if we should or should not continue, I think we need to decide that, um, this format. Um, but yesterday there was a discussion around, um, how do we um, not get affected by people? And this comes up again and again, but uh, especially the context was, and I think Parul was talking a little bit about that. If we empathize and we have some near and dear people, um, but we always feel that we were trying to help, and what we got in return was a little bit of a brush of negative energy, and sometimes more, sometimes less. And this conversation was going on, and I basically, a lot of times when the questions are asked and when our discussions happen, I go back to uh, things that I have observed in satsang, things that I have actually seen. So I'll take you there. So my father was a chemistry professor, and once with another, professor, he had to travel to another city to take some exams, and and they went to another university, and they were returning back in a train. So interestingly, my father never used to mix satsang and his work. So he had a huge social network outside of the university, and they were almost very little overlap. So this professor he was traveling with had no idea who he was traveling with in terms of in the context of satsang. So just to I was thinking about uh, this story, and I was also just to give you a gauge. Open door policy, like so at home, on average, I would say 5 to 10 people a day would visit him. Um, when he would travel, like this time I traveled for weeks, and he would travel for just whenever he would get time, or and in his travels, I mean, in one travel, probably a few thousand people he would see. And few hundred people would interact a little more, uh, you know, intimately, and in the way that they would be talking about their issues, problems, questions, and the brush of their energy, um, would that affect him? And so before I, talk about that, so let me finish that other story. So they're traveling by train, and this other professor, a close friend of his, and um, so the train stops uh, at some place, and several people from the satsang family come to meet him. And in Indian tradition, they're touching his feet, and they're like so many people. They're like brought sweets and food and whatnot. So this colleague of his was like, gosh. So he was completely like taken aback, like, what happened here? So he asked him, so I've never seen this side of you. What was this? And he said that I'm just a postman. And that, uh, you know, so basically a letter comes from here and I deliver it there. Um, so that is one way of treating all the empathy that you have, in the sense that that energy um, that you're feeling, you're receiving, or you're interacting with, you can deal with it as a postman. It's not for you. It's basically, uh, you know, uh, so basically, uh, the way that you will uh, push it, uh, forward, in the sense that if there is a prayer, uh, you pass it on to God, and not, think that somebody is asking you that. So going back to how do you deal with you know, people near and dear to you, which sometimes affect you. So you could deal with them as a postman, or you could deal with them as a coal dealer. So that's a Hindi saying. I wouldn't go into that, but basically, if you're dealing with coal, and you know, your hands will get dirty or black with the coal dust. So the question is that if you're dealing with something, the chances are that will affect you. So how you deal with that, and obviously in this discussion there is this aspect of like detachment. So you know, in the sense that if there was somebody uh, who was drowning and you give them a rope, there will be a pull. So unless you have a backstop, you will be pulled in. So you got to make sure that you know, there is that backstop. Um, uh, I, I hope I talked about this, but and Parul, maybe you know, there was this discussion we had. Um, where it ended was very interesting. That you know, you could interact with the person from, you know, wherever you are, or from a higher level, in the sense that if there was this higher self, this higher energy, and this higher awareness, higher consciousness state, and if you let that drive the interaction, so instead of your body or your mind getting affected, you react from this higher consciousness state, then your body, your mind will not be affected, if that makes sense. And Parul, maybe you can translate that better.
The meditation was amazing. I don't know if anyone else wants to comment on that, but yes. I mean, we were speaking about empathy and compassion, and what I was really talking about when we were speaking was that, you know, empathy on, like, when we're regularly in our conversations with people day to day, it can really touch you. Because, you know, empathy is like deeply listening, as you were telling me yesterday, like deeply listening to someone and understanding them. But what you were saying is that, you know, the energy that they're sending back and forth is not touched into your energetic field. You know what I mean? And that's where you were saying that, you know, there's a coal dealer. And then what was the other thing you said?
The postman.
The postman. And you want to be, which is like a messenger, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be a messenger and not a coal dealer, which is where you're putting your hand into the fire and into the things. You want to be protected. So I think if you can go into that a little bit more, like where the energetic aspect of empathy, where we're taking on energy and karma of others, like how to protect ourselves. Because a lot of people think empathy is taking that energy and allowing that person to just kind of, I don't want to say dump, but also just,
No,
you know, energy exchange.
I feel that there are people I interact with and they have a heap, not a small amount, a heap of energy. And how do you stay unaffected is the question. And that's why I'll go back to my father used to meet several thousand people a year, you know, sometimes thousands of people in a month. Um, and if all that energy starts affecting him, then it will be a whole different story, because not everybody is positive. Not everybody is at a higher level. They are actually interacting with him, talking about all the messes and all the problems and all the issues and all the situations they're dealing with. And so I think that is why the postman aspect came in. So he is embodying this energy or embodying his guru's energy and is just passing everything to it rather than thinking that this is for him. Or so even the question is not directed to him, it is to this deep I or the higher self or the higher energy. So if we, in ideal terms, if we were to operate at the highest levels such that we have a shield of this transcendental energy around us and everything is getting affected by that energy because that's enormous energy, positive and uplifting. So people get affected by it rather than you get that heap of not so positive energy. I'll pause there and see if there are any questions, comments, and thoughts.
Yeah. If anyone's feeling how I'm feeling, I'm thinking people will be very quiet today. But if they want to come on.
So I'll pick on Steve. It has been a while, actually, with everyone, Paula and AC and Christy, Taru.
Good morning. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I'm gonna duck down here. So, I was about I think maybe 2 weeks ago. I watched Morgan Freeman do this series with National Geographic. It was called The Story of God, and in one of the segments, he talked about who is God. And as you were going through the meditation, and you talked about envisioning deities or entities in front of you, it made me think of that a lot, in terms of the conceptualization of God or connecting to the divine, which is probably different for everybody. But in that segment, he talked about how Muslim people perceive God as an invisible God. And it's because that God is greater than anything we can comprehend or conceptualize. So when we perceive light or we perceive God, I think I conceptualize a lot of different images, but at the core of it is, when I think of God, God is the creator, God is goodness, God is righteousness, God is omnipotent. So it's just in connecting to the divine, or when we're meditating, I think of light, I guess, a lot of the time, but it's a really an abstract thing to connect to. So I'm just curious what your conceptualizations are there.
So what I found was that if there is this, ocean of consciousness and this transcendental energy or transcendental light, to me, so they are like completely synonymous in my conceptualization. So transcendental light, transcendental energy, an ocean of peace or ocean of consciousness, all synonymous. And so if God is everywhere and is in everything is um, behind all conscious activities, then this transcendental energy format just works for me. And, as I was growing up in satsang, they would say, you could. So one of the tenets that Guru Maharaj kind of documented was that, you know a person as uncle, the other person knows as a son, the same person is known as a father to some people. So just because they have a different name, that person doesn't change. And um, so so God could have different names and even different forms, but at the all of this is like it's a power or Shakti. That's you know. So again, to me, that translates to transcendental energy. And so uh, when it, so to me, it became like a very universal concept. Uh, so even in the meditation, like you have to start from somewhere, but you have to go beyond all of the conceptualization into embodiment. Um, and yeah, it's just uh, so to me, the thing is, what I felt was that the fight is all upfront in the sense that people talk about different religions have a different conceptualization, but people who have experienced it, who have connected in real terms with God, I think there will be no fight because you're beyond that then. So all the people who are fighting is because of some ignorance aspect. And once you are, you know, there, then I don't think there is any. Uh, then, so I get, and then there is another nuance to it. Is if so, be it Buddha or be it Jesus, they all helped people to achieve a higher self, and their path was different. So every one, so if one becomes a billionaire one way, will say this is the way to go. But that doesn't mean that's the only way. Um, so that's the only difference. At the end of the day, just get there. End of story. So if something works for you, great. Right? Uh, to me, it's more about helping each other to get there.
Well, it's good to see you. Thank you for that. I didn't mean to come with such a deep, heavy question. It's very good to see you, and I enjoyed the process, and I'm glad everyone is here.
And the other thing, um, was I think we need to start thinking about in person at least once in a while. So what would um, uh, you know um, what would be a good way to plan that? I think let's think about that.
So, I mean, also talking about what Steve was saying, like we were talking about, you know, yesterday we were talking about the highest self. Remember that?
Say that again.
No, because yesterday we were talking about embodying the highest self, and that's like the end goal.
Yeah.
So whether it's an entity, an energy, an invisible force, whatever it is, like the end goal is to literally embody the energy of what is highest self. It could be an entity, it could be the universe, the cosmos, the light, whatever it is. So, and I think that's, you know, in satsang, we're obviously choosing like a golden light, and some people see it as the guru, and some people can see it as God, and some people can just see it as light. And the point is to slowly but surely embody that energy.
I would like to say, since no one has said it yet, Sanjeev, that your daughter is a gem. She has been so amazing. I know it's because she's your daughter that she has so much wisdom, but she has taken questions and given answers that you would not expect someone of her age to understand. And while we missed you a great deal, we're not missing you so much because Parul was absolutely on target, and there were conversations that we had while you were away that I don't know many people have spoken about. And I just want to tell you what a great daughter you have. She was absolutely amazing.
That's a blessing,
It
definitely.
certainly is.
Oh my God, thank you. You
You
know,
know
wait,
it's true, and you knew I was
oh
going
my
to do
gosh, thank you. No, I had no idea what you're about to say. Like, oh my God, thank you though. And honestly, we have had such amazing conversations. Like, I feel like I know you guys, and that's why, you know, I've been asking dad to also like think about a retreat and think about meeting in person, because I just want to like meet you guys in person. And satsang in person is something that is so powerful, because a lot of satsang is about, it's just about experiencing energy. It's not even about the words or how people communicate. So yeah, I mean, anyone who goes to Bandara in India can attest to that. But yeah, thank you so much.
So Paula is saying the original version works well, which I totally agree. So let's do this. I think we can alternate, you know, between these two formats and see maybe Tuesday. We'll see where it goes. But one good point, Paula, about monkey mind, I think, well taken. I think we can insert a little bit of that. Yes.
I personally thought it was very powerful because I felt like the energy. I don't know about everyone else, but I felt, obviously it needs to be refined a little bit, like the mic and the music and everything, which is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
technical thing. But I
Yeah.
think the energy was much more powerful today.
And I think for see the way I'm thinking about this is once you start enjoying silence, there's nothing like it. But till then, um,
Mhm.
you have to get there, and that's why I felt that, you know, how do I visualize transcendental energy is a question that comes up again and again. Once you dealt with it, your meditation is off to the races. Till
Mhm.
then, I think a meditate, you know, a guided one might help.
Also, I think, you know, everyone is meditating differently. Like, the point is to get to a deep place and enter the higher mind. You always say that. Enter the higher mind. That's beyond the body. So we have to get really comfortable and loosey goosey in the body, get almost like numb, and then you're experiencing silence.
That's that's it. Anything that gets you to a deeper state is worth it. I think it
Yeah.
then.
But I think it helped that you, if we can get the mic and everything right, and it's like a
Yeah.
flow while the music is playing, then the silence will be much more powerful.
Okay. So I'll work with one to
Yeah.
sort that out.
Well, if anyone wants to come on and have a usual chat, Pooja, thanks for coming. Omkar, Uncle, Geeta, Auntie. Arvind Uncle, Mahima ji.
Namaskar.
Saturday to everyone. What Paula said, Parul has been doing amazing. So we missed you, but we gotta.
I am absolutely. See, I was looking for, um, so my thinking right now is the way she brings the topic up, and she is so, um, I don't know what's the right word for that, but basically it's, uh, based on things that we are all dealing with. Um, and so food for thought, and more than that, I think it is something that elevates us and gets us into meditation. Then after meditation, I could talk about the same thing or similar topic or the same topic, and I think we'll try that format.
Yeah, it's very relatable how she
Yeah.
sets up the topic. Actually, I was encouraging Sonal to join too. I said it's going to resonate with you. It's been resonating with all of us. So hopefully she'll join one day.
I've gotten Ashita on board. So I'm like, slowly but surely we'll get all the girlies in here.
Yes, we need them.
I'm like, will Sheena ever be in here? Oh, that's a funny one.
Good question.
But thank you. I'm just
No, but
honestly, when you left, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna do this on Tuesday and Saturday. Like, how am I gonna do this? And it just flowed natural.
no, which is, and I was saying I was looking for, and I'm still looking for volunteers to,
Yeah.
to, I mean, apart from traveling, I think that there's just we need more speakers, right?
Yeah.
So Arvindji, how are you?
Namaskar, Puji Bhaiya. Charanam mein pranam. Happy Saturday, everybody. I'm good, thanks to you. And it was amazing. It was truly deep. And what can I say? Other than the odd mic issue that you said, it was absolutely lovely. So fortunate to join. I was just wanting to share one thought that Parampuji Papaji said once, that in satsang, people who try and join satsang, it's possible to have two births in one life. Manushya dui janma hota hai. So one hopes for that. That a person can have two births. One is a physical birth that everybody knows, and the other one is a spiritual birth by Guru's grace at Guru's place. And that's like an infant growing into kindergarten and learning, learning from the Guru, progressing. So one can pray for that.
Yeah, basically, I think you reminded me of this book that Panditji Maharaj wrote, Self-Realization, A Journey. And so he talks about that within 24 hours, or we keep, um, we're not in one state, and that keeps us from boredom, I guess. It's like we're sleeping, we're awake, and then we're in dream state. And each of these states, like we are in a different zone. We could be, you know, uh, very, like very happy, very, accomplished, and very, in one state, and the other one, like we could be completely opposite. But then he says that there is a fourth state, as you were talking about, like when you're actually really awake. Um, So that's when your consciousness level and awareness level has gone beyond a certain point. So that's the fourth state, which not everybody gets to. Very well. No, I don't know. Actually, people are agreeing, and I personally, even before I got to the session, I was feeling it's going to be a very powerful session. Don't know why. Just it turned out to be a great session. Yeah, so we'll keep doing this and figure out where. At first, I think I need to fix some technical issues. Once we have done that, then we'll see if we split that into two different modes altogether, or we do one. So for now, we'll have alternate weeks. So hopefully by end of next month, we'll figure out where we want to be.
But I think we'll stick with topic, meditation, us talking, you bring a topic, and then main.
Sounds like a plan.
And then do we want to talk about the retreat if we want to do one?
Yeah, maybe we can, take this on email and float some ideas and see what will be the most effective, cost-effective way to
Right.
bring everybody together in a.
So if we were to plan like a weekend retreat, is everyone willing to come? Have like a full itinerary, stuff like that. We're just planning right now, like we're looking at some places. So if anyone has any word, and would everyone be willing to like go to a certain place? Like we were thinking like North Carolina or Shenandoah, Virginia.
Or I mean, I like Blue Ridge, Georgia, as well as Lake Tahoe, which actually is another thing, and Sedona is a good lead option as well.
Yeah. And then we have options of either end of March or around May, end of May. That's what we have planned if we're going to do this. So we just need kind of like a head count and, if everyone's willing to, make like a weekend investment to meet up so that we can do this. And obviously we'll come with a full plan, topics. I'm even thinking of like a little tea ceremony for us, stuff like that.
All right.
So I think what we should do is maybe like send something over email.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, just look out for an email and then we can all find a place to meet and have like a in-person satsang.
Very good.
But I think right now we were looking at North Carolina, right?
So right now, what I was thinking was March 21st, somewhere near Virginia, and
Yeah.
June first week, North Carolina.
Okay.
And let's see which one falls in place.
Okay. So there would be two options.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll send options then. And Paula, how is your work thing going? Is it getting better?
It actually has been much better since we talked, because
Okay.
whenever I'm in that place, I am at a higher level that I don't need to. And actually, it's very interesting. You said to me that maybe I need to pray for her, and I've actually thought that many times over the last week since we talked last, and I look at the situation completely differently now. So
Amazing.
thank you for that.
Yeah, because me and my dad were also talking last night about how, Dad, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but their, you know, corporate environments, especially after you're like on kind of a satsang path, is like vibrations are like all over the place. Like you come in, you meditate daily, you do blah blah blah, and then you go into a corporate environment where it might even be a little bit unconscious. So of course there's going to be triggers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very, instead of saying something about it, I'll just give some food for thought here. So I had a conversation last January, not this January, the previous one, with some folks from New York, very accomplished, and we talked about, you know, meditation and higher consciousness and all that. And they said, um, I think I am happy where I am. And I'm not sure if it will work for me in the sense that they feel they're accomplished, and this may not be the path towards that. While the person already had open heart surgery and everything. So this perception that meditation or spiritual growth will actually take you away from accomplishing material gains is pretty real and embedded in people. Now, if I look at my own observation, um, um, what I find is that when, you know, and my own and some other folks that I have seen throughout my life, concentration, discretion, integrity, all these things can actually lead to being successful. But then once you go beyond a certain point, you also realize that just running for the running's sake is no longer needed. So your perception actually changes. And we were talking about perception just now. And once that perception change happens, that my need is just this much, my need is just that much, so I mean, the billionaires want to become far bigger and far more just because. So all that probably goes away. But if you are focused, if you're concentrated, if you're making right decisions, you can be successful. And your growth, even in materialistic terms, could be, uh, pretty simply be there. Um, so anyway, what I find is that when I actually, and another observation, and maybe that's just me, but what I felt was that people who were nasty, who were herd drivers, and who were considered to be, you know, they will get more done, quote unquote, just by, putting so much unnecessary pressure. They were considered to be, people who are the right people to grow. And I'm like, that's just completely upside down. So I think these perceptions, like, and again, I mean, it's like cultural too. Like in US, you taking a 2 hour, you know, break and going and sitting somewhere and sipping some drinks is it's not there in the culture. Europe, it's everywhere, right? So I don't know. I mean, I have observed in US the focus has gone to a point, and even in India, I found there were like news about 80-hour weeks, and I'm like, and there was ample discussion on that topic, and even here, there have been these discussions about how much time you give is so much important rather than what's the output. Um, but what still bothers me is that people who are nasty, who are really not valuing people, grow continually in the corporate culture, which shouldn't be the case in my view. So, but then again, it's complex, the topic. But all I can say is that, the if you keep your growth to the higher level, like toned down, or like in the sense it is focused on making sure that you become clearer in your purpose, clearer in your ability to be a better person, I think you will grow anyway. All right, on that note, we'll see you all next week.
Welcome back, Dad.
Thank
And
you all. Steve, AC, Arvindji, Mahimaji, Christy, Shivangi, Omkar, Geeta. No.
Namaste, Bhaiya. Welcome back.
Namaskar ji, welcome back.
Have a great week ahead. Light, love, and peace be with you. So, see you all soon. Bye.
Namaskar, Bhaiya. Happy Saturday, all of you.
Happy Mahimaji.
Namaste, Bhaiya ji.
Namaskar.
Pranam Bhaiya.
Namaskar, Punanji.
Pranam Bhaiya.
Namaskar. Namaskar, Geeta. AC.
Pranam Bhaiya. Thank you for today.
That was good. Good to be back. All right, one, I think we'll connect.
Pranam Bhaiya.
Namaskar.